Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From my drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, Ziggy Guns never fail.
What is up, Fantasy Football Fiends? My name is Ziggy Gunn, along with
JT Magnum.
And it is week 7, and we are going to be doing our studs, duds, and Papa Sans, also talking about your waiver wires of the week. But first, very important, it is week 7. There's people coming off the PUP list. JT, start it off.
Yeah, there's four main guys coming off the PUP list, and a couple of them you might want to snatch up as quick as you can, and maybe a couple others you might want to take a look at and hold, maybe for the playoffs, for a playoff run. And the 4 guys are Percy Harvin, Mario Manningham, Jonathan Stewart, and Michael Crabtree. So for me, grab Percy Harvin as fast as you can. Keep him on your bench until he's active. He probably will be active pretty soon. The rest of the guys seem like they're going to be a little while before they come back, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I know Michael Crabtree is not going to be available till mid to late November.
Yep. Yeah, and just to add to that point, for sure, Percy Harvin, he has the most potential to be used as a number 1 receiver. We all know what he could do in Minnesota. And in the Seattle's offense, he could be what is missing. You know, you have a hard runner, and you have some receivers that, you know, are okay, like, you know, Tate and all them, and Sidney Rice. But if they had Harvin, that's why they wanted to trade for him. Harvin is that difference maker that they could definitely use anywhere, slot, outside.
Oh yeah,
definitely pick up Harvin. Worth the look at for sure. And then
playmaker.
The guy in the list, playmaker, exactly. Jonathan Stewart would be interesting because obviously when D'Angelo Lewis has been playing well the last couple of weeks, he doesn't score those touchdowns, and I got a feeling he's going to come be that vulture back. You know, we already saw this past week. Was it Goodson? Right? Goodson was not Goodson. Tolbert.
Tolbert, yeah.
So I think it was Tolbert. He took, 2-3 touchdowns, and that could have all been D'Angelo Williams. It's probably going to be Jonathan Stewart, though, getting that from now on. So, touchdown leagues, for sure, that's a good look to look at for Stewart, because it's not Williams. I can tell you that. But let's go ahead and get into the waiver wires. Quarterbacks, Thad Lewis, very impressive. What do you think about that pickup?
Yeah, he was pretty impressive. I mean, I said the Bills were going to win, but they ended up getting close. But Thad Lewis played a good game. He did a really good job. So
he looked impressive.
I mean, they're playing Miami this week. Miami gives up a lot of yards passing. He's worth a pickup if you got a quarterback on bye and you need a quarterback to pick up this week. That might get you a lot of points. Thad Lewis might be a good guy to pick up. I believe he's playing too. So
yeah, and in case you're wondering, we did already talk about Nick Foles. I know he's a hot topic, especially with the drama around the Eagles quarterback controversy. But we already talked about him, so we're not going to get in that discussion since we talked about him last week. You should already pick him up. TJ Yates is the other guy we'll talk about. Houston's Schaub got injured. Ugly situation there in Houston. What do you think?
Yeah, if Schaub can't go this week, it looks like it's going to be TJ Yates. I believe Schaub hurt his ankle pretty badly, so it's probably most likely he's not going. I wouldn't pick up Yates unless it's an emergency and you're really desperate for a quarterback, but I'm sure there's other quarterbacks to pick up on the waiver wire. And as you saw, TJ Yates comes right into the game and throws an interception. So for a pick 6, of all things, a pick 6, right after Matt Schaub does it for a while. So I wouldn't pick him up just yet. It's probably not worth your time.
I wouldn't think so either. All right, running backs. Number 1 on the list is Brandon Jacobs. Phenomenal game against the Bears. We talked about him a little bit. Obviously, I think it's a must pick.
Yeah, he's starting. So, obviously he's going to be playing for a while. If you need a running back and it's hard to get starters in the league, pick him up because he's going to get all the goal line carries. He's going to be the main back, he's going to be the main back. So you got to pick him up. I just think that he did well because he played the Bears, but that's me.
One thing you definitely proceed with caution. I mean, he did have a hamstring thing. He's not used to getting this many carries, and if he's going to be counted on, that could be something that could plague him. So we'll see. The other guy to pick up of the week is DeMarco Murray got hurt for Dallas Cowboys. Joseph Randle came in, got a touchdown, most of the bulk of the carries. What do you think?
I would say, I mean, obviously, like again, hard to find a starter, and if you need a start, if you have a running back on a bye this week, and you have a chance to pick up somebody, and you know other teams can't risk picking them up because they can't drop other players, pick him up. He's a starter. Don't know how long DeMarco Murray is going to be out. It says a week or so, but you never know what the kind of injury he has. He could be out longer, or he could do really well, and maybe when he comes back, he's not even going to be the starter. So pick him up.
Yep, it's certainly worth the risk, especially if some of your running backs are on bye, like say Pierre Thomas, Darren Sproles, etc. So certainly a look, especially if you did have DeMarco Murray, you might as well plug him in. Wide receivers, I know we wanted to talk about him all week long. No, I'm just playing. Keenan Allen, awesome game, man. Is this Eddie Royal part two? I mean,
He seems to be the number one target right now of Phillip Rivers, but then again, every 2 weeks, it seems like there's somebody different that Rivers is targeting. It seems like people try to take away one receiver, so he goes to the next. But he's a rookie wide receiver. He's really, really good, and they're playing Jacksonville this week. So pick him up. If you haven't picked him up yet, you're dumb. Pick him up. Pick him up now. And put him in your starting lineup. They're playing the Jaguars. Jaguars haven't stopped anybody this year. It's like a JV football team.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it, since I told you to do it after week one, and then he proved me wrong. Now you can drop Eddie Royal. Drop Eddie Royal, pick up Allen. And the other guy we wanted to talk about is Riley Cooper. Very interesting. He's starting to emerge as the number 2 wide receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah, he did really well last week. Seems like Nick Foles, obviously, they're getting a lot of second team action. Second team snaps, so they probably know each other really well. So put him in the game. Obviously, he knows him really well and knows how he's going to run his routes because they practice together. So you're going to see that combination working. As long as Nick Foles is in there, you're going to see Riley Cooper doing well. So I would say pick him up as well. Especially this week against Dallas. Dallas secondary is just not that good. So they're going to be catching balls.
Focus is going to be on Deshaun Jackson. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So Riley Cooper should have a big game. But then again, even whenever the focus is on Jackson, he also has big games against the Cowboys. All right, tight ends. We got to talk about the 3 touchdown man out of Detroit. Joseph Fury. What is it, Fury?
Joseph Fourier.
Fourier.
Yeah, he's all 6'8" of them. He's like 6'8". He's only caught 7 balls all year. So, I mean, if you're in a PPR league, stay away. If you're because they have a lot of tight ends in Detroit that they use. Obviously, they use him in goal line situations or near the goal line situations. And Calvin Johnson takes away double teams, takes away a lot of looks. So that's why he looks open or he gets open. But I mean, if you're desperate for a tight end, sure, pick him up. But there's plenty of other tight ends I think you could pick up. It's just that this guy is just such a, he has like 5 touchdowns this year, all on 7 catches. But I mean, if you're just going to get 6 points a game.
And you could just tell, though. I mean, you could just tell that the reason why he's getting this much work is because Calvin Johnson is hurt. He's not the same. He can't jump off that leg like he can. And he's just looking at another guy that happens to be around the same height. And those touchdowns could have easily been Calvin Johnson's touchdowns if he was healthy. So once Calvin Johnson's back to health, then there goes Joseph. Scott Chandler looked good with Thad Lewis. We'll talk about him. What do you think?
Yeah, he's always been one of those tight ends that he's very inconsistent. He'll look good one week and look good another, but then just fall off for like 5 weeks. I would say, if you're desperate for a tight end, sure, pick him up for a week, but he's really not worth it in my opinion for that. I mean, Thad Lewis obviously may be using him as his go-to guy, just to get rid of the ball, but I wouldn't say pick him up.
Certainly a lot of tight ends that seem to be in a better option, but I mean, if you need a tight end, I mean, at least he's starting to get a good rapport with this quarterback, Thad Lewis. Defense, San Diego Chargers playing Jacksonville. That's a must pick up.
Pick them up. They're playing Jacksonville.
Exactly.
Have to pick them up.
And then I wanted to talk about the last one, the New York Giants, just the 0-6, 0 for whatever they are now, 0-6. The Giants are going to have to win one game, and this looks like it. Against Minnesota, I think it's a good pickup. In my opinion, just if you need a defense, I mean, don't get me wrong, you probably don't need a defense. But if you need a defense, I say pick the Giants against Minnesota. Minnesota can't do anything. They can't.
It depends on who they start, and it depends on Adrian Peterson how he runs. The Giants are giving up the most yards or most points per game. I know that for sure, but Minnesota has a hard time right now scoring, and they just have a quarterback situation that just sucks. So if you need to take a chance on a defense, yes, sure, pick up the Giants. But as for me, I wouldn't touch them.
We'll see what happens. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our studs, duds, and papa sans. Who's your stud of the week?
My stud of the week is going to be Ryan Matthews, and why? Because he's playing Jacksonville. Every running back does well against Jacksonville. My stud last week was No Sean Moreno, 3 touchdowns. So this week it's going to be Ryan Matthews. He actually had a good game this past week. He ran for 100 yards. So let's see what he does. Let's see what he does this week against Jacksonville.
My stud of the week is going to be going against Denver. We did tell you last week to play any Jacksonville player, and they will do good. And Justin Blackmon and MJD and Henny all did very well fantasy-wise. This game, I'm going to say Andrew Luck is going to be the stud of the week. I think he's going to be kind of like a Tony Romo, type game where he's going to be trying to catch up to everything that Peyton Manning's doing. And by the time you look up, he's probably going to have over 350 yards passing and maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. That's how I can see this going. So Andrew Luck would be my stud of the week. And then dud of the week. What do you got?
Alex freaking Smith. I'm gonna dud him up. Why? They're playing Houston. Houston's pass defense is really, really good, and they get after the quarterback really, really well. You already know with J.J. Watt and company. And Alex Smith does what? Takes a lot of sacks. He's the dump-off king. All I saw him do last week was dump it off, dump it off, dump it off, dump it off, dump it off. He had 100-something yards. He barely had a passing. He's like his worst passer rating or something. He has just been, all he does is dump it off. All he does is throw quick screens out the flat to Jamal Charles or to his tight end really quickly or to a quick screen to a wide receiver. I never see him really throw the ball downfield other than once or twice out of the 6 games that he's played. And Houston's going to eat him up alive, and I am happy to say so. Why? Because I cannot stand Alex Smith, and I keep saying it. I'm going to be happy.
My dud of the week. They would. You'd be happy.
Yep.
My dud of the week. Last week I picked a New England Patriot, Tom Brady, which he was a dud until that last game, by the way. Until that last drive, by the way. This week I'm just going to stick to that theme. Another New England Patriot. This time it's going to be Stephen Ridley. I know everybody is in love with him again, especially after that game against the Saints. But they're playing the Jets, and that Jets run defense is just outstanding. And Stephen Ridley, the real Stephen Ridley, is going to be showing up again. So expect not many yards and maybe even a fumble or 2 from Stephen Ridley. Papa Sans, who is your sleeper of the week?
My sleeper of the week actually is a wide receiver from Green Bay, Jarrett Boykin. Not many people know him. I know many people probably know to even pick him up. But James Jones is hurt, so is Randall Cobb. And we didn't mention him because we always mention like 2 wide receivers for the waiver wire. But he's another wide receiver you want to look at. Pick him up because, what's his face? Jordy Nelson's going to be Joe Hayden's going to be all over Jordy Nelson this week, and as you know, Joe Hayden's a really good cornerback. Jordy Nelson might have a good game as well this week, but I like Aaron Rodgers to look for the second wide receiver, which is Boykin.
Yeah, my sleeper of the week is I gotta go again. Anybody playing Denver is gonna have a great game. T.Y. Hilton. I know he didn't do anything last week, but this week people are probably going to be down about his performance this past Monday night against San Diego, but he should bounce back in a huge way. I expect him to have a very, very good game. He's the kind of guy that Denver is definitely having problems with. I'm looking at maybe even 180 yards and maybe a score or 2 out of this game, so we'll see.
All right. Well, what's your record for fantasy football in our league?
In our league? In our
4-2, right?
4-2. 4-2, third place.
Yep, with second in scoring, though.
Second in scoring, you're number 1. Undefeated still. Look at you.
I'm undefeated, 6-0. Tops in scoring, and I'm playing the second place team. So if I knock him off, you win.
I'll be right there.
You'll be right there in second place. So
I should be right there. That
good
guy,
luck.
that team I'm playing against is nobody. Then again, my stud quarterback is on a bye week, Drew Brees.
Yeah, I have dream matchups this week again. My team is stacked. Although I did screw up last week. I did not put Vernon Davis in. I left Jordan Cameron in. I wanted to put Vernon Davis in. I just didn't do it. I couldn't do it because I thought he was hurt a little bit still, and it burned me in the butt. But that was my only mistake last week, was not putting Vernon Davis. I did sub Jordy Nelson in for Calvin Johnson though.
There you go.
That was a big move, and it paid off. But yeah, I'll take the 6-0 still. All right, guys, don't forget to leave comments in the comment section. We will try to get to it the best I can. I missed a couple last week. I do apologize. I've been really, really busy, but I try to pay attention to them the best I can. If you have a need, a serious need, and you need to know something, need to have your draft, or need to have some advice really right away, tweet me at Optimus Magnum or tweet Siggy at Siggy V, because that way we can respond faster, we can see it faster. I don't have to come home online, check my inbox to see what YouTube messages I have. It already comes to my phone. I can look at it and I can respond as fast as I can from my phone. So if you need some help, follow me on Twitter and tweet at me. I try to respond to people as fast and prompt as I can. Even up to game day sometimes I respond. So please, feel free to leave the comments, but also feel free to tweet at us. We're always there to answer questions, or to answer anything needs or advice that you might seek. So that's it.
There you go.
You got anything else to say?
No.
All right.
Good luck week 7.
All right, Fantasy Football Fiends, we out. Peace.